Okay, so walk into almost any boardroom today, right? And the conversation, it inevitably turns to AI.
Hmm.
There's this real momentum, feeling that we're right on the edge of something huge, something transformative, and executives, well, they're definitely eager to act.
They absolutely are, and you can see why. But I think the real strategic question isn't just whether to do something with AI, it's really how you do it.
How you do it.
Yeah, how you do it in a way that actually builds a meaningful long-term value for the company, not just chasing the hype.
And that's exactly what we want to get into in this deep dive. We're grounding our discussion today in some really sharp insights from Michael Edwards at MIT.
Ah, is 2024 talk.
That's the one, Business Strategy in the Age of AI.
Mm.
So for you listening, our mission here is to unpack why having a clear AI strategy is just so critical.
And how it's really fundamentally different from just, listing out a bunch of potential use cases and building them.
Right. And also what lessons maybe established companies can learn from, well, from past big technological shifts, huge shifts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, let's start with what often happens. A company sees this AI wave coming, right?
Right.
And the default move, it seems, is often, well, let's assemble some teams.
Yep, the task force approach.
Exactly. Brainstorm potential use cases. Pick a few.
Yeah.
Start building. And look, there are definitely some good things about that approach initially.
Oh, for sure. You learn things, people get excited, you build some momentum. Those are real benefits. You can't dismiss them.
But there's a but coming. I feel it.
There's a but. Those things are great, essential even. But for creating that meaningful long-term value we talked about, something else is needed.
Which is the strategy part.
That's the strategy. It's having an informed hypothesis, really, about what the world might look like with AI deeply integrated, and critically, what role your company wants to play in that future.
An informed hypothesis. I like that framing. It's not just guessing. It's based on something.
Right. It's grounded.
Mm.
And, this strategy, it isn't just about one thing. It can look at internal applications, improving how your business actually runs your functions.
Making things more efficient, cutting costs, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. But it can also look externally, and that's often where the really big transformative potential lies. We're talking about creating new kinds of customer value.
New products, maybe.
New products, yeah, or different ways to reach customers, new distribution channels, even entirely new business models.
Wow, okay. So it spans internal efficiency and external market-facing changes.
Precisely. The strategic thinking needs to cover both. You can't just focus on one and ignore the other if you want to really leverage AI's potential.
Okay, that makes sense. Strategy provides the why and the where, but let's talk about the when. Where are we, really, in this whole AI trend? There's so much noise.
It's a great question and important for context. Look, AI as a field, as a concept, it's been around for decades.
Right, it's not brand new.
Not at all. And for many specific, sort of narrow tasks, AI can already do things better than humans, significantly better in some cases. But when we talk about the kind of broader transformation, the AI-enabled tech and business shift that's got everyone talking now, we are still, relatively speaking, in the early days.
Early days, really, even with everything happening.
Even with everything happening. Now, how fast things progress from here, that's a subject of pretty fierce debate, obviously. But the fundamental transformation, still unfolding, early innings.
Okay, so if it's early days, what does that mean for established companies? Does that make it easier or harder?
Well, it makes it classic innovator's dilemma territory. That's what it does.
Ah, the Christensen model. Explain that connection.
So think about it. Most successful established companies today, they're doing great. They're operating really well on their current S-curve, right?
Delivering value,
Yeah.
using their existing tech, their current models.
Exactly. They're optimized for that curve. But the dilemma is, at some point down the road, the capabilities that AI unlocks will likely create a new S-curve, one that eventually surpasses the performance or value potential of the old one.
Okay, so there's a point where the new tech just becomes better.
Right. And for an established company, jumping from their comfortable, profitable current curve to that uncertain, potentially disruptive next curve, that is incredibly difficult.
Why so hard if you see it coming?
Because it demands fundamental, often painful change. It means letting go of ways of doing business that made you successful. It means shedding old models, maybe old products, old tech stacks.
Sounds like you're talking about rebuilding parts of the organization.
In many ways, yes. Essentially recreating organizations to operate on that new curve. It's a massive undertaking, not just incremental improvement.
And I guess the classic, maybe overly cited example of failing that jump is Eastman Kodak.
Yeah, Kodak comes up all the time. It's almost the textbook case, isn't it, for failing to navigate a technological shift.
But you often hear the story told simply as, they missed digital. Is it more complicated? What's the real lesson there?
It is definitely more complex. The common narrative misses a lot. Kodak didn't just miss digital. They actually invented the first digital camera.
Wait, they invented it.
They did back in the 70s. And they invested heavily in digital technology throughout the 80s and 90s. They even had an early market presence.
So, what went wrong then?
Yeah.
If they saw it and invested.
Their problem wasn't lack of foresight, really. It was, ironically, their incredible success in the print photography world. Kodak owned pretty much the entire value chain.
Film, chemicals, paper, processing, cameras.
Everything. Everything. That whole vertically integrated system was a cash cow, but it also became an anchor. Moving aggressively into digital would have meant actively destroying or cannibalizing their hugely profitable existing business.
Ah, so they couldn't bring themselves to dismantle the empire that built them.
Precisely. It required making incredibly hard choices about shedding their core identity, their profitable assets, their whole way of operating. They were, in a sense, trapped by their own success, victims of it.
Wow, that's a much more nuanced and frankly scarier picture. Success itself becoming the barrier.
It really is. It shows how structural advantages can become disadvantages in a paradigm shift.
Okay, so Kodak is the cautionary tale.
Yeah.
But you mentioned there's a counter-narrative, a less famous one perhaps, Fujifilm.
Yes. Fujifilm is such a fantastic contrast. They were always number 2, right? A distant second to Kodak in film.
Right, the green boxes versus the yellow ones.
Exactly. Fuji also saw the digital writing on the wall. They knew film was declining. But their response was completely different.
Oh, so?
They took really decisive, you could even say radical, action. They didn't just try to tweak their existing model. They fundamentally pivoted. And they didn't just survive, they thrived.
Okay, how? What did they actually do?
Their method was really interesting and I think holds lessons for today. They basically did a deep inventory. They cataloged every single capability, every asset, every technology they possessed, even obscure ones.
Like a full internal audit of what they were good at.
Exactly. And then they looked outward. They aggressively tried to match those internal capabilities against customer needs in totally new, emerging, or adjacent markets.
Okay, give me an example.
Well, one key area was their deep expertise in high-end film manufacturing. That requires incredibly precise chemical engineering, working with specialized materials at a nano level.
Okay. Where does that apply outside of film?
Surprisingly, LCD screens. Flat panel displays need protective films with very specific optical properties. Fuji realized their film chemistry expertise was directly applicable there.
No way. From camera film to TV screens.
Yep. And another one, collagen. They had like 70 years of experience working with collagen because it's a key component in traditional film emulsion.
Right, okay. Still sounds film-related.
But they realized collagen is also huge in, well, cosmetics, anti-aging creams, supplements. Yeah. So they leveraged that deep chemical knowledge and launched a successful cosmetics line.
That's incredible, cosmetics. From a film company.
It shows their mindset, right? They weren't just a film company, they were a company with deep chemical and material science expertise. They redefined themselves based on capabilities, not just past products. They jumped to multiple new S-curves.
That Fuji story really drives home the idea of looking at your core strengths differently. Okay, so linking this back to strategy in the AI era, when a company is developing that strategy, what's the most crucial question they need to anchor on?
It sounds almost too simple, but it always comes back to this. What is the customer problem that you are solving?
The customer problem?
Yes. AI is powerful. It can change how you create value, how you distribute it, maybe even how you price it.
Yeah.
But the fundamental reason for a business to exist is to solve a problem or meet a need for a customer. That has to be the core, grounded in real needs.
Okay, that makes total sense. Solve the problem. But here's a question. With a technology as potentially transformative as AI, could the problems themselves change? Or how we even think about them?
Now you're hitting on something really profound, and the answer is absolutely yes. In these huge technological shifts like AI, how we even conceptualize customer problems can fundamentally change.
What do you mean by conceptualize?
Okay, let's do a thought experiment. Go back to, say, 2006, before the iPhone really hit big.
Okay, I'm there, carrying my trusty Nokia, or maybe a BlackBerry.
Right. Now, if you ask the average person back then, what problems do you have with your mobile phone? Or what do you really need it to do? What would they have said?
Maybe better battery life, better reception, a stronger case, maybe a better camera. But even that wasn't the main focus.
Exactly. Would anyone, or at least very many people, have said, you know what I really need? I need a pocket-sized touchscreen computer that seamlessly combines my phone, email, a full web browser, my music library, a personal organizer, and gives me access to millions of third-party applications.
No way. That sounds like science fiction in 2006. We didn't even know we needed that.
Precisely. The problem definition itself was limited by the existing technology. What Apple did with the iPhone wasn't just solve existing phone problems better.
They redefined the whole category.
They reconceptualized the customer problem. They envisioned a whole new set of needs and possibilities that customers themselves were only maybe dimly starting to feel, because the tech to really fulfill them hadn't existed in that integrated way before. They defined a new kind of problem.
And you're saying that same kind of reconceptualization is going to happen with AI?
I absolutely believe so. AI will enable us to solve problems we currently think are intractable, but it will also reveal and help us articulate entirely new categories of problems and needs that we can't even fully imagine today. The very definition of customer problem will evolve.
That's a big idea to wrap your head around. Solving problems we don't even know exist yet.
It is, and that's why strategy is so crucial. It's not just about applying AI to today's problems, but about anticipating and shaping how AI will change the landscape of problems tomorrow.
So, bringing this all together then, if you had to distill the core message from this deep dive, what would it be?
For me, it really comes down to this strategy-led innovation. That's the approach that dramatically improves your odds of success with AI. It's not just about doing AI stuff.
It's about being intentional.
Deeply intentional. Grounding that strategy, like Fuji did, in a real understanding of your organization's unique strengths, your capabilities, your assets.
Internal peace.
Right. And then combining that, critically, with a profound understanding of customer needs. And that means understanding both the needs customers can clearly articulate today. And those needs they're maybe only just beginning to sense. The ones that AI itself might bring into focus. That future-facing view of the customer problem is key.
Wow. Okay. Strategy, internal strengths, and evolving customer problems. It's a powerful framework.
It's the way to navigate, I think.
All right. So maybe one final thought for everyone listening to take away and chew on.
Okay.
Building on that Fuji idea and the concept of evolving needs, maybe think about this. What seemingly unrelated capabilities or expertise does your organization or even you personally possess right now?
Interesting.
Things that might seem totally disconnected from your main business today. Now imagine combining those capabilities with the emerging power of AI. Could that combination unlock a way to solve entirely new customer problems? Problems that maybe no one is even properly articulating yet.
That's a great provocation, looking for those hidden connections, those latent capabilities.
Exactly. What could you build at that intersection? Something to really mull over. Thanks for joining us for this deep